video I'm talking about the modernized Galil ARM. This rifle here is a James River Armory Gallant. It's a Galil ARM clone. If you've seen my other videos on this, I had some issues with this right off the bat. This is one of their Gen 1 rifles, and I had to do some stuff to it in its original form just to get it running properly for me. And I got that all worked out. Everything's running pretty good. And I decided to make it a little bit more comfortable to shoot and make it a little bit more comparable to modern firearms such as the AR-15 and some of the modern advances that those rifles have had as well. If you're more of a traditionalist when it comes to firearms, then you might not like some of the changes that I've made to this firearm. But I'm going to talk about some changes that I made to make this work better for me. Alright, so starting out with the front end. The Galil ARM was not made to run optics. It was not made to run really any type of accessories at all. Originally, it came with the bipod on the fore end as well as a wider, clunkier handguard that would accept that bipod when folded. So the bipod alone is approximately 12 ounces. So taking that bipod off the front saves you 12 ounces right off the get. Taking a look at the original handguard, you can see here it's got that split in the bottom, and that is what allows the bipod to tuck in. And when you are holding onto this, it feels like you're holding onto a 2x4 when you're running your rifle. So, looks awesome, don't get me wrong. I think the classic Galil look with the bipod attached is super aesthetically pleasing, love the look. However, shooting it in today's standards, not the best option for me. So that's why I decided to swap this out. Instead, what I'm running is the Galil SAR handguard. It is not made to accept a bipod. So it's just rounded on the bottom here. It's a lot more comfortable to wrap your hand around and to hold on to. So that's the first upgrade there. You can see my rear handguard retainer still has the little claws in there to grab onto the bipod. That's something that you may want to swap out as well. A little bit of a snagging hazard there, but for now I'm just running that from the ARM. Not that big of a deal for me. All right, so taking a look at the front end here, I have two requirements when it comes to a fighting or a defensive rifle. Number one is an optic, and also number two, we have a light. So those two things are required. This Hillbilly Firearms rail allows me to get both of those. The Hillbilly Firearms rail required some fitting, and that's due, in my opinion, to the build from James River Armory in combination with this bullet receiver that they use. Because I found that there's some wonky things that go kind of hand in hand with both of those. Not pointing fingers at anybody, but this finished product here has some issues. So I got it to fit. Removed some material from the back of the gas tube and added some material as well in between the gas tube and the receiver to get it stop it from wiggling so that it would maintain an acceptable level of accuracy. Now to add my light, I'm running an Impact Weapon Components Thorntail mount. This is the Haley Strategic branded version, and that has a Streamlight rail mount 2 attached to there, and you can see that mount is allowing it to push out past that front sight post, which is nice. It's going to cut down on any shadows or anything like that, as well as any splash that might come up off that front sight post as well. The pressure pad is attached to a Cloud Defensive LCS mount in the back that keeps it there nice and sturdy so it's not wobbling around on you. The little rubber rail pieces that the Streamlight comes with does not work very well, and that's not going to hold up in the long run. So if you are going to run the Streamlight pressure pad, I'd highly recommend the Cloud Defensive LCS pressure pad mounts. All right, moving back here to the optic, I have a Primary Arms MD20. Really happy with this red dot. I have several of them, ran a lot of rounds through them, never had any issues. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with these optics. I have it mounted onto an American Defense Manufacturing QD mount, and this is, I believe it is a VCAS height. I will let you know down below, but basically this is in between a low and a medium height mount, and that is to allow it to clear that front sight hood. If you're running a low mount, this front sight hood would be right in the middle of your optic. So your options are either this mount or an absolute co-witness, which is going to put it uncomfortably tall for it being this far forward, in my opinion, but whatever works for you works. However, you could also run a low mount and modify your front sight hood, chop that top part off, which some have done that as well. But for me, just running that mount, and it's putting it in the perfect spot for me. Now, the original Galil ARM does have a slot here on the receiver for an optics mount. However, there's not many options for it, and the options that are available are not very good in my opinion, for a couple reasons. Number one, just the quality of them, the height of them, not great, and also it blocks this upturned charging handle, so it makes it difficult to come over the top and manipulate that charging handle when you have an optic sitting right here. So you could do that. They have some adapters that have this run off the side, but again, you're making additional mods to make it work around other things. So that's why I went with running the optic in front of the charging handle as opposed to back here off that side scope rail. And coming back here, I'm going to take a pause right in this vicinity to show you what I did here. Some of you might not like this, a little bit of blasphemy, but I chopped off that left side safety. And the reason I did that is because this safety is kind of counterintuitive. Right now it's on safe, and that safety is forward. However, when you place this on fire, it brings that safety latch back rearward. So when I'm shooting, my thumb actually presses forward on that safety latch and causes it to go onto safe while I'm shooting, which is obviously a problem. Now, instead of relearning how to grip this firearm, I just decided to lob that off. There are replacements available if I ever wanted to go back to stock for whatever reason. However, I am guilty of that. All right, and then back here at the rear end, I swapped it out for an adjustable M4 style stock. The reason being is the factory stock, for me personally, a little bit too buku. All right, one size does not necessarily fit all when it comes to butt stocks. If it did, we would still be running a 2 stocks on all our rifles, but we don't. So typically I run this stock right about here. This is the comfortable length for me. If you compare that with the original stock, which again, super aesthetic, this looks awesome. This is the best looking stock for a Galil. But if you compare the two, you can see how much length I'm saving. It's about 2 inches or so, which makes a big difference, especially if you're going to wear body armor or anything like that. That's really going to make a big difference. But even normally, just in this configuration, not wearing body armor, this is a lot more comfortable for me. I got a just standard M4 buttstock on here. You can put whatever you want. My go-to is typically a Magpul CTR, but I had this and it works great. That is attached using a JMac Customs ST6 skeletonized tube, and it has a Isle manufacturing adapter on the rear. It's a 1913 adapter. It lets you run any type of 1913 stock on your Galil. Super simple. Just punch out the pin, put the adapter in, punch the pin back in, good to go. And of course, I'm still able to fold this stock if needed. If I'm going to put it in a bag, because this 18-inch barrel really makes it difficult for this to fit comfortably in most normal bags. However, you fold that stock, folds nice and flat against the receiver, and you're good to go. Deploys super simple as well. So that's it. That is my modern take on the Galil ARM. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. All my links are going to be down in the description below. Thanks for watching.